Hey guys, it's John here from Ecom SEO. Just want to go through a bit of a pet hate of ours here when we're talking to Shopify store owners. If you've been following our channel for a while now, you'll know that we spruik the benefits of Shopify when you set your store up correctly. Now, what we find though is when we talk to Shopify store owners or prospective clients, there's many reasons why a Shopify store may not be ranking. It could be a brand new store, could be the age of the store, could be a domain that possibly has some issues with previous history, and there's many reasons why a Shopify store or any website for that may not rank. But what is a little bit frustrating is, let's say someone decides they want to start their Shopify store and they go to all the effort of doing the research, finding the products, purchasing the products. If they're drop shipping, they've put effort and time into building the store and getting it up and running. And generally what happens is they tend to rush a little bit and get products up, get the store live, send some paid traffic to it, and they might make a few sales, which is great. But long term it becomes quite painful because they have to keep paying for that paid traffic to get those sales, and the return on investment is sometimes just not there. And as we know, with the recent Facebook algorithm changes, paid traffic is becoming trickier and trickier as time goes on. So what we'll always encourage is they put the effort and time into also setting up their store so you start to bring in that organic traffic over time. So I'm not going to go in this video. All I'm going to talk about is one element, which is generally the first element we look at with any Shopify store, and it is simply content. So sounds simple, and you probably hear it all the time, but those who do this every day understand how important content is for any site, let alone a store. The problem with e-commerce is a lot of it to do with user experience. So you want to have great images so people could come and look at your product page and then read a little bit of information and then click through. But that generally is not enough for the search engines. So what we want to make sure is we've got plenty of content on our page, on our product pages, especially on our collection pages, and throughout the rest of the site. Product pages are tricky because you don't want a heap of content that sort of takes away the looking at the product itself and your images, but you need enough content here in this section here on your Shopify store to actually tell the search engines what your product is about. So the more content here, the better. There are certain apps out there where you can create tabs in your content, so when someone actually views your page, it still looks good because you've only got this amount of content. But then if you click on the tab, it'll open up a heap more content, and then you can get a lot more content in there for the search engines, and but still have your page looking good. So that's one aspect. I will review a couple of the apps in another video, and we'll go through that. But what I'm going to talk about is what's easier to do, and it's easier since we've actually created the Optizen app, is to add plenty of content to your collection pages. Collection pages are so underutilized and overlooked in terms of the strategy when ranking your Shopify store. So let's go. This is a really poorly optimized store, which we're sort of using as a bit of an example. So here you've got a collection page. It's got one product in it. Let's just assume it's got more. And the standard default for Shopify is that you can add content here at the top of your collection page. Okay, so we have our content here at the top of the collection page, and if we just go to the collection page in the dashboard, we can see we can have a title, and then obviously you can have a little bit of content here. Now you can actually add as much content as you want in this section, but obviously if you do that, I'm just going to go grab a bit of generic content here. So grab that content. This is a no-brainer. What's going to happen? We add it all in there, and we save it, and then we'll go and refresh the page. And all the content's there. Okay, that's obviously what's going to happen. But for an e-commerce store, obviously this is not great because it really takes away the user experience. When someone comes to a collection page, this is not good for them just to see a bunch of content. Most people are not going to read. But the catch-22 is you actually need that content to help with your overall site rankings and authority. So you can see it pushes the products to the bottom of the page. So this is something that we've been able to deal with by using our app, which I'll show you in a second. So what then you can do, so we'll just get rid of that content now. And we'll just reload this page. So generally it's good to have, we find to have, a small paragraph or 2 paragraphs here just explaining what the particular collection is about. You've got your H1 title here, and then also I think this is a H2 on this page. And then if you've got a heap of products, then it still looks good. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to pause for a second. I'm going to add a few more products in here just so it makes a bit more sense. Okay, so now I've just added a heap of different products. They're not actually relevant to this collection, but just for example purposes. So, depending on what theme you're using, you can decide how many products you want on a collection page. Generally, 12 to 16 seems to work pretty well because people like to scroll a little bit, have a look at what the products are. But for this particular example, it's thrown in a heap of different products. Obviously, these are really poorly optimized as well. And then you've got your pagination section down here. So we just assume that this is all set up correctly for that particular collection with the products required for that collection. So as I mentioned, we like to have this little bit of content here, and then what we're going to do is use our app to add a heap of content at the bottom here. So we'll grab that generic content again, and just give me 2 seconds. Go to our app, and what it does, it opens up all the different collection pages, automatically generates them with a HTML editor. So simply now, just going to add in that generic content. Actually, I'll get rid of that so it doesn't do it in that fashion. I'm just going to put it in a notepad. Just give me 2 seconds. I just needed to put it in a notepad to get rid of all the styling. So we'll do that again. It's just a standard editor like you would find in any other platform, and we'll just hit save. So now that's saved, and now we can go to our collection page. If we go back here, we can see that's the actual collection, and we'll refresh. So now the page looks identical here. We've got our products as they were normally, but now we can see we've got all this content here. We've got the pagination section still active here, but we've got all this content. So this seems like a really simple process or a simple concept, but it's incredibly powerful for helping rank your Shopify stores. Collection pages push authority. Let's say you've got a collection page of a certain category. By adding in relevance with all this content here, and then also within this you've got you can add in images and your H tags, H1, H2, H3 tags. You can add in videos, and importantly you can add many internal links through this content here to different products, cross-linking collections if you want. You can have your outbound links, and you power up this entire page. And the way it works with when you set this up, it starts to push authority through, because all these are links going to your product page. It starts to push authority through to the products itself. So once you build authority to the collection pages, you'll start to see improvement of your product rankings as well for their particular keywords. Then you can start to power up the collection page with your offsite SEO, your link building and sending traffic, etc. through this page to power up your products even more. So instead of having to link build to individual products pages or link build to a collection page, it doesn't have enough content, which can be an issue in itself. This very simply provides that feature where you've got enough content, and when you do all your other SEOs, provide all your other SEO strategies to the page, it's going to work really well. So this is, again, really simple but really powerful, and the great thing about it, your pages still look the same, so there's no problem with that usability issue. As far as I know, so far we're the only ones that have this option. We're looking at creating a theme with not only this feature but a heap of different features that's really SEO optimized. So yeah, really simple, but just adding in that content. So I hope that makes sense. We're going to be providing more free videos and training on all the different elements that we look at when trying to rank a Shopify store. As I mentioned previously, there are many different strategies you can use. We have training and a course that we've brought out that goes into much more detail and step-by-step how to do that. I'll provide a link at the bottom of the video, and if you want to have a look at that, feel free. But yeah, really simple, but it's what we find with clients, they struggle with this concept because it seems like a lot of work, and it is. You have to write content and you have to think about it hard, but it's much harder when you're spending money on paid advertising and you're not getting the return on investment you need. That's a difficult part, rather than putting the time and effort into creating content. Alright, thanks for seeing the next video.